going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to you, and I wanted to bring you a video with Steven Crowder, where Steven is on the streets talking about race. And in this episode, he's talking to two women, and I believe they're mother and daughter, and they're two black women, and things get a little bit heated during the conversation. But guys, I'm going to bring you two videos. Man, this is going to be the first two featuring this. But if you guys would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
Really, truly about being open.
Yeah.
Open to listening, open to learning, and having the conversations.
So you're saying that in your day-to-day, your experiences have been good, probably because of your circle of friends. Compared to the media, sounds like you're saying there is some division out there, but not so much in your circle of friends.
Not within my circle of friends because I choose them, right?
Right.
So this is my choice. It's my choose to have people in my circle that I don't have to fight with all the time, that we are open and we learn from one another. But I take a look at where we are in their schools. They go to private schools.
Okay.
So there's complete division with racial divide, seeing our black boys in the private school arena get in trouble where the white boys don't get in trouble for the same offense. I see that every day.
Why don't you just take them out of private schools?
Because at the end of the day, it's a better education.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Because that's got to be tough then if you have to choose. Like, what kind of things
It
do they
is.
get into trouble for that white kids wouldn't? Like, what do you?
A fist fight. I brought
Fist
it
fight?
up last year. If you see two black kids in a fist fight, they'll probably get suspended. You see two white kids in a fist fight, which rarely happens in private school, then it's a pat on the back. It's very, it rarely
I don't know. I
happens.
can't tell if you're joking or if you're serious. Is it rare, like white kids get into a fight in a private school, or are you saying?
But we're going to have to remember that if you have more black kids, getting in fights, you're going to have more black kids getting in trouble. Again, we have truly get to remember that in the adult population, 52 or 53% of all violent crime in the country is committed by less than 13% of the population. I mean, black people. So we truly have to remember that black kids are getting in more fights than white kids are, as a percentage or a portion of their population. They're going to be getting in trouble more. And we truly have to understand if you've had 3 or 4 fights in 1 year, I mean, your punishments are going to be worse than somebody that gets into a pushing match with somebody once a year. We have truly got to understand that. But I mean, I have not seen any data to suggest that the white kids get away with whatever. I mean, again, we have to truly understand in this country right now, if you're a black kid in Chicago, for instance, you can lose stores. I mean, you can run around, you can jump on cars, you can burn stuff down. Again, you can do pretty much whatever you want.
You mentioned microaggressions. So you're the first person today who's mentioned that. What do you mean by that?
Microaggressions, meaning they say little things, they, meaning non-people of color, will say little things not realizing that it's a microaggression, not realizing that it's hurtful, that it's racism, because it's so micro.
So, like, what would be an example of that?
My hair. Oh my God, can I touch your hair? Oh my God, is that real? Things of that nature. Or we didn't do that. Or, it's just, Carrington, you want to give me some microaggressions?
Like, your hair's not real. You speak so. You're so articulate.
well.
You're so
Yeah.
you speak so well, even though I'm just using
Come over a
basic
little bit.
English. Because they assume I'm going to be using AAVE or African vernacular or Ebonics, whatever you want to say it, put it as. But yeah, it's just things like that. But little things. I remember in 6th grade, somebody said my hair looked like spaghetti hair because I had twist. And I don't know what y'all look it up. Look up twist. I had like round twisted, and they said my hair looked like burnt spaghetti. And that's a microaggression, right? You don't realize it, but it is hurtful in the long run. It makes you feel othered, and that's not okay.
When I was in high school, I had I had a horrible haircut, and it was cut very short on the sides and tall. And I was told that I looked like a retard Patrick Dempsey.
Nice.
So that wasn't so much a microaggression as a.
That's just aggression.
That's just aggression.
Right, yeah.
But my point is that happens to everybody. And my question is, I think maybe it comes down to, is that necessarily racist, or if we just view it through the lens of maybe this is something I'm uncomfortable with, but they're not meaning it to be racist, right? Racism would have to come with intent.
Racism does not have to be intentional.
Racism is subtle.
But there's no such thing as being accidentally racist. There isn't. I mean, again, you can be ignorant. You can be ignorant of something, but being ignorant is not being racist. We have got to understand that. And again, we have also got to get away from this notion that people need to pander to you. Man, they don't need to learn about you. They don't need to learn about what offends you. They don't. You know, again, if they understand that might offend someone, again, I would say probably don't use that. Or don't say that, or don't do that. But again, people that don't understand and do it, and then, I mean, again, you can nicely say to them, hey, that bothers me. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. And that's all there is to it. We have truly got to understand that. You know, I mean, again, that's called ignorance. You cannot be racist without intent. You have to have intent. You have to intend to be a certain way. If not, that's called ignorance. And again, people, not everyone else is responsible for the way you feel. We have truly got to understand that. And nowadays, man, everything is about, oh, they made me feel bad, or they said something wrong, or they looked at me a certain way. A microaggression. No, they didn't do anything wrong to you. They got to use the bathroom. That's what they had, the look on their face. Again, they didn't realize that asking you about your hair is racist. They didn't realize. So again, they apologize, and you guys go on your way. That's it. And if they don't apologize, guess what? So what? So what? Some people aren't. They're just not going to apologize. But guess what? They're not responsible for your emotional well-being.
The reason that a lot of white people don't have these kinds of conversations like this is because they're afraid of being accused of being.
Yeah.
No, they're afraid of being accused of being racist.
Yeah, right, fragility.
Well, see, that is an attack to just say white fragility. What if someone, for example, we just interviewed every single black man who we interviewed today, every single one, said, yeah, the Black Lives Matter thing got out of hand. All lives matter. Everyone's lives matter. And I don't think that was good for either community. Every single black man that we interviewed today. And if I were to say that same thing, right, because I don't think the problem is just race, and I think we do have a failed justice system, by the way. I think you'll miss it if you think it's just race. Well, we can't classify that as white fragility or a microaggression.
Okay, so let me define
Yes, I
white
disagree
fragility.
with every black man you spoke with today. But go ahead,
Okay,
Karen.
Right, but they're entitled to their opinion.
they are.
It surprised me that they said it.
So white
Yeah.
fragility means that I think we're on the same page. You're just defining it as different. So white fragility means when white people are afraid to confront the fact that they might have racism or might have racist thoughts. That's white fragility.
But what if they don't?
They don't. Literally almost everybody in America does because of the way America works. Even black people have racist thoughts towards
Right.
black people, right? So it's kind of hard to get out of there unless you're like not from America, and even then it's pretty difficult. So literally everyone has some form of racist thoughts, but white people it's just easier because they're not black or they're not a person of color. They don't have the system around them necessarily to confront that because they don't have to, right? So it takes more work on their part, right? And there's nothing really necessarily, it's not great, but there's nothing wrong with working more harder to get to a certain point. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
I just want to be clear that I understand, as a white guy, obviously, and I get it. Look, we're coming from different perspectives. You're defining something that you just said would require more work, right?
Yeah.
It would be a form of racism that they may not know, that frankly is something that they were born with, white
Yeah.
fragility, through no fault of their own.
yeah.
What you just outlined is racism.
Right.
I mean, no, you saying white fragility, that would be racist toward, like, saying, yeah, you are blamed for something that you were born with. You have white fragility just
So
because you're
racism-
white.
When you use the term white fragility, that is a term that can be offensive to a lot of white people. But I mean, you have no problem using that. You hold white people to a standard that they can't offend you. They can't offend black people. They have to understand you. They have to understand what offends you, what bothers you. But, I mean, you don't care about what bothers them. So why do you think they need to care about what bothers you? We truly have to understand that if you're going to hold people to a standard, then you have to first hold yourself to that standard. If you're going to hold others to it. But also, man, to sit there and say that white people are born with this racial, outlook. I mean, again, that because of the culture they're born into. Again, we have truly got to understand. No, I mean, black people are born into a certain culture. They are born to a certain culture. They're born to a culture where they feel they can use terms like white fragility. They can use that term. So again, wouldn't that mean that they're being racist too? Oh, no, racism, it's about power. No, it's not. No, it is not. It's about being prejudiced against people of another race. It's not about power.
And working together. It takes a whole village to raise a child, and black people truly embody that. While white people tend to have more of a nuclear family, two parents, and a few children, and they work together, right? There's nothing really wrong with the nuclear family, but it is like an embodiment of the American dream and whiteness, right? So because society's built on all of this whiteness and all of these standpoints that are made for white people, they're just more used to that, right? And they're not really used to thinking outside the box and thinking about people of color, and that's what I'm talking about. And when they're confronted at the fact that they don't think about people of color, you get white fragility because they're scared and they didn't want to realize that let me rephrase this. They didn't realize that they weren't thinking about people of color, or they were in the back of their mind and they get scared. Right? So it's not
I hear you, but I disagree with you, because I think right now at this very moment, you saying that's racist is privilege, honey. That's
Also,
nothing but privilege.
No, I'm
it's
saying
white
I'm
privilege.
saying the idea.
To be able to say
so
that.
also, if you define
I'm not, so I shouldn't be
racism
able to say that. I mean, we haven't.
No, to be able to say it and to live in that, I think it's white privilege.
You're not making the right argument. The definition of racism is power behind discrimination. You can discriminate against white people. Anyone can. But you can't necessarily be racist towards white people, because racism comes from discrimination plus a place in society where you get to have power.
Guys, man, we have to understand that anyone that looks down upon somebody, because of their race, is prejudiced against that person because of their race. Man, that's racism. That is what that is. It has nothing to do with power. We have truly got to understand that. But also, man, we have to understand too that, black people right now, they have power. They have plenty of power. But again, if you can call some 20-year-old black kid, can call a grown 50-year-old man, a white boy, and nobody bats an eye. But, I mean, could you imagine if some 20-year-old white kid called a 50-year-old black man a black boy? I mean, could you imagine? I mean, again, if a 75-year-old white man called a 30-year-old black man a black boy, I mean, people would have a damn fit. So we have to understand that is power. If you can say whatever you want to say, and that's okay. But the other way around, it would be called racist. You have power. That is what you have. And the mother on here telling Stephen that you can say whatever you want to say because you're white privilege. What about her? What about her daughter? They're saying whatever they want to say. And what privilege do they have? Do they have white privilege? No, I don't think so. They have black privilege. They can say whatever they want to say. As a matter of fact, they can call Stephen racist because that's black privilege. Black privilege allows you to call anyone else, any other race, especially white people, racist.
Where can a white person disagree and say, yeah, that's not racism, or you know what, I don't agree with the idea of white fragility and them not be a racist.
Okay.
Because I was just told that is privilege to even say I disagree with your opinion.
No, that's not necessarily what we're saying. You kind of low-key said that. Anyways, but what I'm saying is if you have the facts,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I didn't say.
She tells me when I'm wrong
okay.
too.
Hopefully, if
you have the facts and you have the backing, there's no issue with debating something, but you need to understand what the core is. So somebody said, I don't think white fragility exists because of XYZ reasons, and someone comes back with no, and they're still very hard-headed about it, or they don't see the reasons, or they don't really look into those facts. That's where the issue lies. If there's an actual discussion, I don't really care if you think fragility is real or not, because eventually you are going to come to an opinion that is not necessarily based on how you feel, but on facts. And then from there, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
I don't necessarily care about what people...
So if someone were to go through, example, just to kind of use your timeline, and if someone was raised in Canada, right, not the United States, someone use your timeline and say, actually, according to Professor West, black men, black activists, well over 95% of slaves in Africa were sold into slavery by African slave traders, including largely black
Still
African
wrong,
slave traders.
but
Of course, it's wrong. And this was the first country to fight the bloodiest revolution in history in order to free the slaves because they recognized that it was ungodly based on the Judeo-Christian principles, and we signed the Emancipation Proclamation. We were not uniquely responsible for starting slavery. We were uniquely responsible for ending it in the modern world. And there are more slaves today than ever in recorded history
Okay, so
on Earth right now. 42 million.
I would never. Okay, no.
40,
Go
no, the
ahead,
fact
get
is
it, child,
42 million, and
I'm
someone
gonna
says,
get
so
it
since there are more slaves on Earth
You cannot disagree with them. If you do, then you're racist. If you dare to disagree with either of these women, you're again, you are racist. That's what you are. Again, if you dare talk about slavery, what really happened? I mean, again, how dare you? You're white. You can't talk about that stuff. You're white. But again, these people, they can say whatever they want to say because they're black. We truly have to recognize, man, right now, where the actual privilege is. You can't, again, getting back to Stephen's point, you can't disagree with people. If they're black and you're white, you can't, say, I disagree. I think it's better off to have a child raised in a home with a father and a mother present. I mean, because if you do, then you're racist.
You're walking through it very incorrectly without understanding the basis and the foundation
Also,
of
you can't
the
really
African
say
heritage.
What part is wrong?
You can't say white people ended racism because black
can't.
people fought to end racism. So white people are the reason
we
we still
would
existed
still
in the
be
first
slaves
place.
if it was for you, baby. If for white people, we would still be
Really?
enslaved. I believe that. I
not
believe that.
necessarily.
How much have you read from Washington,
think
from
it's-
Jefferson,
All of it.
from Lincoln?
After he was raping all the slave women and making babies
So that would
with
be,
them and
again,
all that.
historically
Okay.
inaccurate.
That is very true.
We're talking about
That's very true.
It's not,
We're
it is
talking
true
about
that-
Jefferson.
It is true that
Jefferson
they
has-
freed their slaves upon their death because it was illegal at
It's
that
very
point.
true that he
Also
raped slaves.
Guys, we are supposed to believe that black people, who they say have no power now, somehow had enough power back in 1865 to free themselves. No, they didn't. We have truly got to understand they didn't have the power. And again, slavery was wrong, but slavery was something that was practiced around the world at one time. And it's still being practiced in certain areas right now. But there were more white slaves in North Africa than there were black slaves here. We have truly got to understand that. But again, man, they don't tell you that kind of stuff. They don't want to. But again, we have to believe that black people who have no power now, according to them, have no power. They somehow have power 160 years ago to free themselves. And the white people, they had nothing to do with it.
Because of like systems and
Zoning, the
slums
whole
and
nine.
redlining and all of these things.
Yeah.
That's based on anti-blackness and also based on class. And class
You
is
can
a
toss
whole.
Disney in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Disney has racism
And
too.
Ty, the Beanie Baby Company.
Yeah. Anyways.
I lost a ton of money on those. I'm really waiting for them to go up in value.
Do you realize that Ty, the Beanie Baby Company, right now owns the license for all the Disney princesses, but he refuses to make one Disney princess, and that happens to be Tiana, and he refuses to make that one.
Yeah,
it's not good.
So I'm just saying, it lies within so many different facets.
Also, just think about who.
I got to tell you, it doesn't.
There's nothing to say about that. That's just horrible. horrible, right?
Yeah, I don't know that that's even true or that it's because
It's
of her
true.
race.
She worked for him.
I know that
Director of
Princess and the
marketing.
Frog
It's
was one of the
true.
most successful modern
It's
Disney
true
films.
because it's director.
And we
of
just had a Black Mermaid that comes
Okay,
from.
can I
She was
speak?
director
Well,
of Vector.
I haven't really
Director of
spoken a lot.
marketing. Director of marketing.
Sure.
It's very true. I worked for the company for 5 years. So instead of saying I don't know that's true, I would love for you to say, oh my God, that must be hurtful. This is where the divide is. You automatically went to,
Well, no, 'cause
you
I just-
automatically, let me speak. You automatically went for, back up a little bit. You automatically went for I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Instead of saying, wow, could that be true? If so, that
I said
must
I don't
be
know
horrible.
that it's true and that I'm not going to attribute
I'm telling you
racism if
what
I don't know.
I'm telling you what the tone is that you
But
just
you've been wrong
set
about
for
so
me.
much that I don't trust what you're telling me. You just said that there weren't white people freeing the slaves. It was
So,
only because of black
I didn't
people.
say that.
So
That's
Jefferson
not-
raped
wait a minute.
his woman.
I
It's
never
just not
said that.
accurate. So I'll take your word.
How do you know he didn't rape his woman?
There's a guy named David Barton. He has a bunch
Were
of
you
historical
there?
artifacts.
Were you there?
So were you?
Mama, this is not, Mama, this
then
is not
let's-
an argument.
So can I answer your question? Can I speak?
Then
Can I
let's
speak?
both say no.
Can I speak?
Then let's both say no. We both don't know.
You know, again, guys, he doesn't know it to be true. He has no idea if any of it's true. So why would he say to her, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. It must be hurtful. Why would he say that? Again, he wouldn't. He would not say that. Because, again, he does not know it to be true. Not one bit. But again, we have got to understand right now, if you dare to disagree with the current black narrative, racial narrative, that all white people are racist and everything white is racist and everything, then again, if you dare to disagree with that, then you're racist. You know, again, people want to have an open, honest dialogue about that kind of stuff, but really they don't. They just want to tell you how racist white people are. And again, if you dare to rebut them, say, look, I don't think what you're saying is right. Actually, I know it's not right. Again, you're racist. They come back at you. So again, they don't want to have an open, honest dialogue. They don't. They want to have a one-sided conversation. And that's all they've ever wanted to have. And again, these women right here, that's proof of that. That, again, that's what they're doing. They are doing the normal thing. That, again, if you dare to question black people on racism, on whatever, then you're being racist. And that's not the way it works. But guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
You son of a.